larger than life. He'll give you strife. He's Todd. He's tall, he's mean, he's labeling machine. He's Todd. Rides a motorbike, he'll tell you what it's like. He's Todd. Don't know what he'll say, he'll scare the kids away. He's Todd. He's Todd.
Good morning. Hey, thanks for stopping by. I know we got kind of the, we got all the assets out a little bit late, and then LinkedIn is not cooperating, so we couldn't get the all the invitations out that we wanted to. But I want to appreciate, or I do appreciate, everybody joining me this Thursday, June 3rd. And so welcome to the new studio. And yes, this is an actual studio. It's getting there. So you can see I kind of did a makeshift deal behind me, but eventually what I want up in here is the whole history of Brother Mobile Solutions. And I've actually got a lot of those old printers. I've been here, what, 9 years now. Seems like yesterday. But anyway, eventually I'm going to get the whole lineage and the whole history up here. And but this basically, I put this together 2 days ago. And so I am now in Vista, California. And again, I mentioned last episode, the translation for the Spanish word Vista means a hell of a lot better than Ramona. So anyway, welcome to Vista, California. It's starting to get hot out here. It's still California. It's beautiful. We have broached the, let's see, what did I pay yesterday? $4.29 a gallon for diesel on the new Beast. So anyway, we certainly pay for it. Etching, this is a subject that I really didn't go after and didn't pursue for many years, only because of our standard labeling that I talk about all the time. We're starting to find a lot more interest in the etching. So I am the new resident expert on etching, all right? Electrochemical etching, if you will. And let me explain how that works. So Brother makes the stencil tape itself, and you can print them off of any of these printers right here. And then what happens to that point is you have to purchase, not from us because we don't sell them, but we do have partnerships. I'm going to go through that partnership towards the end of the episode on who we partnership. But essentially what it uses is a device, right, and mixed with chemicals. So you print off, and I got a couple of videos I'm going to show you too, but essentially what you do is you print off the whatever you want etched into the metal. And you use the other device along with a couple of chemicals, and I'll explain in a minute how those chemicals interact, but it actually etches into the metal. It forms micro honeycombs, right, that the actual ink, if you will, gets inside and etches it. So it is permanent etching. And you can do things like QR codes. So anything, tool bins. Let's talk about tool bins. Let's talk about tools. Let's talk about anything that you need something permanent on. And, right now you can use an etched steel plate, if you will, with rivets and so forth and whatnot. But if you really want something permanent, then certainly consider this etching solution. And again, the tapes to use are STE tapes. Stenciling tapes, and so they're available in 2 different sizes, and again they'll work on just about every Brother machine. So let's get to the boring stuff. So what is the chemical etching process? All right, so the process, and I'm reading right here, I'm not even going to try and fool you, but I want to sound a lot smarter than I normally sound. So anyway, the chemical etching process is a sheet metal machining process that is used to manufacture complex components with high levels of accuracy, comprising 9 steps. Now, it sounds like a lot of steps, but It's actually a couple of steps combined, all right? So comprising 9 steps, it works by printing the component design onto a photoresist mask, which is laminated onto the metal. The areas of photoresist, which have not been printed, are developed, exposing the metal, which is subsequently etched away. All right, so what metals can be chemically etched? So almost any metals can be chemically etched. Stainless steels, nickel, copper, and aluminum. So what makes photochemical etching so effective is that it works well on hard to machine metals. All right, so wrenches and you name it. You think of something that normally you can't put a label on, or you're afraid of that label, being torn off, if you will, or removed. All right. So it makes it to where it works on hard to machine metals, including highly corrosive resistant metals such as titanium. Ooh, titanium. So what chemicals, and I get asked this quite a bit, what chemicals have to be used in this etching process? So most metals are etched using ferric chloride, which is safe to use, number one. It's recyclable etchant. So ferric chloride can be regenerated and reused. I wouldn't say it's eco-friendly based upon what I just read, but it can be reused, okay? So other proprietary etchants such as nitric acid are used for specific metals and alloys. Keep that in mind as well, all right? So what sheet sizes and thicknesses can be etched? Well, you can go from here to there, all right? How's that? So sheet metals between 0.10 millimeter and 1.5 millimeter thick can be etched, all right? So you can go a little thicker. In fact, we got a video that's going to show you where they're actually etching on a pretty thick piece of metal here. So how accurate? That's the other question I get, is that if one etches a QR code or a barcode onto a piece of metal, how accurate is it? It's actually highly accurate. So there's excellent accuracy can be achieved with photochemical etching. I just said that, didn't I? Standard minimum etching tolerances are, well, I'll send you the website, all right? But it goes into the thickness of the metal that's being etched. With development, greater accuracy can be achieved. So it is encouraged the customer's partner, with companies such as ours, if you will, that are going to produce what you need to make it accurate. And obviously a brother printer is the best option out there, because almost every website you go to that sells these particular machines, they also mention brother printers and the STE. So it's a very popular procedure out there. So what are the benefits of metal etching? We talked about that earlier, as far as the label not coming off, or somebody peeling the label off. So chemical etching is highly advantageous and offers many benefits. This process does not use mechanical force, unlike stamping, which subjects sheet metals to extreme pressures. I didn't even think of that. Nor does it put thermal stress on the cutting edge, unlike laser cutting. So if you want a knife blade, if you will, that's kind of cool. I'm into Indian motorcycles, and I didn't even think of this until right now. But how cool would that be to download a logo of the Indian Motorcycle Company and etch that on whatever I want to etch, a knife blade or anything else. So again, there's a lot of possibilities with this. So chemical etching can also produce very accurate engraving features at the same time the material is being profiled, such as fluidic channels, logos, and part numbers. We talked about logos. There it is right there. These features come at no additional cost, because you can download those, and then using our P-Touch editor, you can actually put those logos and pictures and whatever you want to be printed on the stencil tape, and then stencil that to the actual metal. All right, so those are kind of, that's the overview, if you will. And I'm going to have Kate show you a couple of videos. The first video is a brother video that kind of goes over the whole process. And then there's a homegrown video out there which shows an actual PTE 550W being used in a shop out there. So Kate, without further ado, could you go ahead and fire up that first video for us? That's really the process right there. It really doesn't get that much easier. So I think the second video we have on cue, and then after we're through watching these videos, I'm going to talk about our partner, and we do have several partners, but the one I'm going to recommend, they do a very good job of representing Brother and promoting Brother. And so anyway, I'll talk about that in the end. So Kate, let's go to number 2, and thanks, Chuck. It's getting there. So those were some friends of ours in Australia that did that. Again, you can see how easy the process is. You know what? We're going to go with this next video is kind of cool because it actually shows, shows the machine and the process that they're going through as far as the chemicals being used and how that applicator is applied there. So let me take a look here. Hi, Amber. Hi, Chuck. Hi, everybody. So again, without further ado, let's go to number 3. Is there one more? There is. Anyway, that is the process. So you know what? I essentially what he's doing there is that he's got a machine, and it's basically an electro machine that has a lead and ground wire that he's hooking up to. Obviously, you saw that plate, and the chemical reactions involved. He's using the two different kind of chemicals that I talked about earlier in here. And what's happening is it is the you know the you know how it all interacts together. So again, and I can't explain. God, you don't want me to explain how this stuff really works, but it's a chemical interaction mixed with the electricity that causes that etching process. And again, it creates little honeycomb, micro honeycomb etchings in there, if you will. And what happens is that ink, if you will, wax, carbon, whatever, actually gets inside those little honeycomb areas, and there you see your etching. So how's that for a high-level overview of the way it works? One of the things, and you saw the machine on there. I did have a question from Chris out there, is that will Brother be selling this as a package deal? Not anytime soon. All right. And again, I'm going to show you in a second the company that I recommend into looking to getting a machine that does this, but you certainly do need a Brother printer and the STE tapes to do so. I did see an interesting video, and you can YouTube it yourself, but it's a guy using our Brother STE tape with a 9-volt battery. And he's actually etching on the metal. It was pretty interesting. Now, do I recommend that? Not if you're in a professional environment, but you know what? If you want to fart around a little bit and just play with it, then, you know, have fun. But anyway, that video is out there with a 9-volt battery. It's actually pretty cool. I'm kind of geeky in that way. So again, there are several companies out there. You saw the one from Australia, our partners in Australia, on how they do the process, but we have one, and I think these guys are actually out of Ohio or something like that. I'm going to bring that up. I'm going to try and show the screen. I'm not really good at this, but let's try this, and hopefully it comes up. There we go, right here. So the name of the company is called TICMA, and again, you're going to have to contact TICMA in regards to the pricing of the machine and what you're going to need, and they can also supply you with the chemicals, but I'm sure you can pick those chemicals up other places as well. This is a very old printer, by the way, but what it does show you is that these STE tapes can be used on just about every Brother printer that's out there, you know, which is a good thing. So you got on-demand electrolyte etching stencils. The etching system is quick and easy. You saw what that gentleman was doing in the last video. It seemed kind of a slow, cumbersome process, but he was doing that video somewhat as a tutorial, and he was going very slow on that. And being as that you can use those chemicals over and over again, again, probably not earth or eco-friendly, but again, they can be reused, all right, as far as the chems involved here. So they're available in two different sizes, 18 millimeter and 24 millimeter, excuse me. Yeah, 18 or 24 millimeter. And essentially what that is 3/4 or 1 inch, all right? Each stencil is ideal for 1 to 3 markings. I haven't seen personally what happens on the third stencil on that, but you can use it several times. So if you're doing repetitive etching, you can use it multiple times with having to reprint that particular tape. So what they're recommending right here is to connect the printer to a computer via USB to print graphics and logos. What they're talking about and what they forgot here is the P-Touch editor. And we've gone through P-Touch editor over and over again as far as bringing in logos and converting data over to QR codes. I'm most excited about the etching process, about the QR codes. And again, QR codes are coming back. They're coming back strong right now. So again, any and all information that you can get onto a QR code versus, let's say, printing all that information out, that's huge. So on a QR code, again, you saw that etching process where you're limited to the amount of characters and lines, obviously, but imagine taking all that information and putting it into a QR code. And as a reminder, QR codes can basically handle, if you're doing either alpha or numeric, 7,400 pieces of information. When you combine the alpha and the numeric, I believe it's at 4,200 pieces of information. So imagine all the information that you can etch now, whether it be on a cabinet outside, OSP cabinets, whether it be data cabinets, racks, although on a black rack, it'd be kind of tough to see that stencil. But again, there's a lot of opportunities and applications that can be done both with alphanumeric and with barcoding. So the cartridges are actually TZE. This is an old one. Here's TICMA's information right here if you're interested in one of the machines. Now, if you happen to miss this, please reach out to me or one of my team members, and we can certainly put you in touch with this company called TICMA, who can guide you through the process. And I've been on their website, and they have many different size machines. They have smaller machines up to very large machines, but the process is essentially still the same thing, if you will. Let's see, any other comments? So Chris, I think I answered your question. Obviously, you've got to go through, us for the machines, see your local authorized brother distributor, if you will, for the actual tapes and the printers. Contact myself, being the resident etching expert. Contact myself if you have any questions on how to do this. What I want to do at a particular point in time is I'm going to get one of these machines. I'm going to bring it in, and I'm going to play with it. Again, I'm kind of geeky like that, and so I want to etch some of my stuff anyway with the Indian logos and whatnot. So anyway, I'm going to try this myself, and maybe we'll do a video on that to show the actual way that I do it. All right, Todd's way. So let me go ahead. Thank you, Kate, for stopping my screen sharing. So really that's etching in a whole, if you will. Again, any questions, please reach out to myself or my team members, and we'll be more than happy to either guide you in the direction of where you can pick up these tapes. The tapes may not be, just an FYI, the tapes may not be a heavily stocked item. It is kind of a niche market. But through your authorized brother distributor / reseller, they can certainly bring those in for you as well. And you know what? They're very cost effective too. I was quite surprised at how cost effective these stencil tapes were. So anyway, maybe Kate and Kelly, we were talking about different subjects. Do you know brother actually has an iron-on tape, right? So, maybe I'll do a video of me, ironing my chonies or something. I don't know, but, brother actually has an iron-on tape for fabrics, which is kind of cool. I don't know if I can fill a half an hour with that, but maybe kind of fun. So anyway, we'll maybe get onto that subject when I'm completely out of stuff to talk about. So speaking of stuff to talk about, all right, we have some stuff coming up here. So as you all know, I spent a lot of time in the low voltage trade. I've owned several companies. My brother and myself have owned several companies as far as contracting companies within the low voltage business. I want to break a little bit away from labeling specific because it can get incredibly boring, all right? And so what I like to talk about, and the best sales calls I do all the time where I can go in and I'm sitting across from my potential customer, and we're just talking about how the business has been in the old days, and where it's come to right now. The whole fruition and different types of cables and the different types of networking systems and so forth and whatnot. So what I'd like to do on June 17th, and Chuck, I'd like to enlist your help, and maybe Sam. since you and I have been, my older brother Sam, by the way, Sam, since you and I have been through all of these changes essentially, and then even Blake, maybe if Blake's out there, if he's not, I'll certainly reach out to him. But I'd like to have kind of a roundtable forum on where this industry has come, where it's going to, the benefits of being in this industry, some of the trends, some of the tricks and so forth and whatnot. So I think that's going to be a great episode. And I'll throw a little labeling in there too, obviously, because that's part of what we do within this industry. So I think that's going to be a really good subject on June 17th. So on July 1st, anyway, the 1st of July, I'm taking that week off. And so actually I just got off of vacation, but you know what? I've got plenty of vacation built up, but being it is 4th of July holiday, I know people are going to be, it's going to be sparse out there, if you will. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to kibosh July 1st. July 15th is also going to be a great show, and stay tuned on LinkedIn and Twitter and Twatter and Swatter and whatever it is, because we are going to do a contest, if you will. And what we're asking for is your labeling nightmares out there. And those of us within the contracting industry have plenty of nightmare-ish stories, and we'll be giving away a really, really cool Yeti cooler. I hope it's a big one that I recommended, but we'll see what happens there. So watch LinkedIn. There's going to be some rules and regulations regarding this. You know, you had to run it through legal, stuff like that, because contest and whatever. But that's going to be really, really cool, because I know there's a lot of nightmares out there. I know that I can tell you a few horror stories, most of which I made a lot of money on as a contractor. But, you know, it's when those labels fall off and I have to go back and put them back on again. When it costs me money, that's not a good thing. So anyway, July 15th, please watch for details on that particular episode. Should be fun. As far as contacting the team, all right, here is, Kate's going to throw up the team there. So I am in Southern California, Vista, California now, if you will. Mr. Jamie Brookover in Virginia Beach. Dan Cobb, he's in Wisconsin. Mr. Bruce Page is in Marblehead, Massachusetts. Yeah, anyway, Bruce, I think that's a first. I got you right there. Rob Dawkins out of North Carolina, and our glorious leader, Mr. Craig Robinson, who hails out of Bradenton, Sarasota, Florida. So with that being said, look at the time. It's 10:28. This actually worked quite well. If you have any questions, comments, concerns, or you need some bad advice, reach out to me at any time. You've got my team members' contact information as well. As always, I appreciate everybody tuning in. I know this was kind of a sparse week, and you know what? We got some really great subjects coming up. So please tune in. Tell a friend. That's the old alpha beta. Remember, for those old farts out there, alpha beta. Tell a friend. Remember that. That there's not a lot of you out there that know that. But anyway, tell a friend. And look forward to seeing you on the next episode. Thank you very much. Have yourself a blessed week. Take care.